Your heart is not just a pump of flesh and valves, it is a quiet storyteller. With every beat, it records your habits, your fears, your movement, your rest. By the time we reach our senior years, the heart has already performed more than 2 billion contractions, adapting again and again to the way we choose to live. And here is the beautiful truth. Even now, even later in life, the heart is still listening. It still changes. It still learns. Protecting it is not about punishment or extreme exercise. It is about gentle, intelligent motion that reminds the body what it was designed to do, circulate life with ease and purpose. The first secret is understanding that movement is communication with the heart. When you walk, stretch, or breathe deeply, you are sending biochemical messages through your bloodstream. Oxygen travels faster, blood vessels widen, and the heart no longer struggles. It collaborates. Science shows that light cardio improves endothelial function, the soft inner lining of your arteries. This lining decides how easily blood flows. In seniors, stiffness can slow circulation, but slow rhythmic movement reverses that trend. Even 10 minutes of steady walking tells the heart you are safe to work smoothly. Over time, the heart becomes more efficient, not louder. Not stressed, just wiser in how it spends its energy. When we think about exercise, we often imagine effort, sweat, and discipline. But for the heart, movement is something more subtle and intelligent. Every time the body moves, the heart receives information. Muscles contract, blood begins to flow faster, and oxygen levels change. These shifts are not random. They are messages. The heart reads them and adjusts its rhythm, strength, and efficiency in response. In senior years, this communication becomes especially important because the heart has already adapted to decades of habits, both active and inactive. Yet biology remains generous. It still responds to gentle signals sent through motion. As soon as a senior begins walking, stretching, or cycling slowly, the bloodstream becomes a living network of communication. Oxygen travels more efficiently. Glucose is guided into muscles, and fats are used as fuel instead of lingering in the arteries. The inner walls of blood vessels, called the endothelium, start to relax. This layer decides whether vessels stay narrow and tense or wide and welcoming. With regular light cardio, the endothelium produces more nitric oxide, a natural molecule that allows arteries to open smoothly. When arteries open, pressure on the heart decreases, and circulation becomes easier, quieter, and safer. The heart itself learns from this movement. It does not simply beat faster, it becomes more economical. With repeated gentle activity, each contraction pushes more blood with less effort. This is called improved stroke volume. For seniors, that means the heart no longer has to struggle for every delivery of oxygen. Instead, it works with calm precision. Even small sessions of movement, repeated daily, teach the heart how to distribute energy without panic or exhaustion. Over time, this lowers resting heart rate and reduces unnecessary strain on the cardiac muscle. Movement also changes the chemical environment inside the body. When seniors stay still for long periods, blood sugar rises, fats accumulate, and inflammatory markers increase. These conditions silently damage vessels and force the heart to work harder. But when movement begins, enzymes activate that help muscles absorb sugar without needing large amounts of insulin. Triglycerides drop, and protective cholesterol becomes more active in cleaning arteries. In this way, motion becomes a biological conversation that tells the heart the environment is safe, stable, and efficient. There is also a neurological layer to this communication. The nervous system controls how the heart responds to life. Gentle cardio stimulates the parasympathetic system, the part responsible for calmness and repair. Instead of reacting with tension, the heart learns to flow with steadiness. Seniors who move regularly experience fewer sudden spikes in heart rate and blood pressure because their bodies remember how to balance effort and rest. The heart becomes less reactive and more responsive, adapting smoothly rather than defensively. Even posture and balance participate in this dialogue. When a senior walks with awareness, the spine aligns, the lungs expand more fully, and oxygen reaches the bloodstream more effectively. Better oxygen means the heart does not need to rush, Each step refines the relationship between breath, muscle, and circulation. Over days and weeks, the body reorganizes itself around efficiency rather than survival mode. What makes this powerful is that communication does not require extremes. The heart understands gentle language. Slow walking, light cycling, or simple rhythmic movement speak clearly to biology. They say the body is alive, engaged, and supported. Through these signals, the heart rewrites its patterns, replacing stiffness with cooperation and fear with flow. Many people believe that the heart becomes stronger only when it is pushed to exhaustion, but the aging heart follows a different logic. It does not grow through shock. It grows through rhythm. In senior health, the most powerful form of cardio is not intensity but consistency. The heart is a muscle that adapts to patterns. When movement appears regularly, calmly, and without threat, the heart learns how to work efficiently instead of defensively. This shift changes not only physical performance, but the internal chemistry of the entire body. When seniors perform gentle cardio at a pace where breathing deepens, but conversation is still possible, the heart enters a training zone of safety. Blood flows faster. Yet stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline remain controlled. Instead of activating fight or flight responses, the nervous system balances effort with calm. This balance is crucial because excessive strain tells the heart to protect itself, tightening vessels and raising pressure. But steady repetition teaches the heart that movement is normal, not dangerous. With daily consistency, the cardiovascular system stops reacting and starts cooperating. Inside the heart muscle, consistency creates microscopic change. Each heartbeat becomes slightly more coordinated. Mitochondria, the energy factories of cells, multiply in cardiac tissue and muscles. This allows the heart to generate energy with less oxygen cost. Seniors often feel this as less breathlessness and more stamina during simple activities. The heart is no longer surprised by movement because it encounters it every day in gentle doses. Instead of saving energy for emergencies, it spends energy wisely across the day. Consistency also reshapes the blood vessels. When movement is rare but intense, vessels experience sudden pressure spikes. In older adults, these spikes can cause stiffness or even injury. But when cardio is smooth and frequent, arteries stretch a little each time, maintaining elasticity. Elastic arteries reduce the workload on the heart. Blood travels without turbulence, and pressure remains stable rather than explosive. Over weeks, this reduces the risk of hypertension and protects delicate vessel walls from damage. There is also a psychological dimension to rhythm. Seniors who attempt intense workouts often associate movement with fear, pain, or failure. This emotional stress reflects directly in heart behavior. Anxiety accelerates the pulse and disrupts breathing patterns. But when movement becomes familiar and repeatable, the mind relaxes. The brain begins to predict safety instead of threat. As a result, the heart beats with steadiness rather than urgency. Consistency trains not just muscles, but confidence. Another hidden benefit of rhythm is recovery. The heart grows stronger not while working, but while adapting after work. When seniors move gently and often, recovery processes activate daily. Inflammation decreases, tissues repair, and the autonomic nervous system fine-tunes heart rate control. This improves heart rate variability, a marker of cardiovascular resilience. A heart with good variability can speed up when needed and slow down when resting without strain. Over time, consistency rewrites identity inside the body. The heart stops living in survival mode and starts operating in cooperation with muscles, lungs, and brain. Movement becomes a familiar language rather than a stressful command. In that language, the heart finds endurance not through force but through harmony, learning that health is sustained by repetition, patience, and gentle loyalty to motion inside the human body. Blood is far more than a red liquid moving through tubes. It is a living messenger, carrying oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and information between every organ. For seniors, the quality of this circulation determines how peacefully the heart must work. When movement is limited, blood becomes slower, thicker with unused fuel, and filled with inflammatory signals. The heart then has to push harder against resistance created inside the body itself. Gentle cardio transforms this environment, turning circulation into nourishment rather than burden. As soon as a senior begins steady movement, muscles demand energy. This demand changes how blood behaves. Glucose is pulled out of the bloodstream into working tissue, reducing sugar overload that can damage vessels. Fat stored in the blood begins to break down into usable fuel. Enzymes responsible for fat metabolism become active, lowering triglycerides and improving cholesterol balance. In simple terms, cardio cleans the bloodstream while it moves, so the heart pumps through clarity instead of congestion. Inflammation is one of the silent pressures placed on the aging heart. Over time, the immune system can remain slightly active even when no infection is present. This creates chemical noise inside vessels, making their walls stiff and sensitive. Gentle cardio alters these signals. During movement, muscles release protective molecules that shift inflammatory messengers into healing ones. This reduces internal irritation and allows arteries to remain flexible. When arteries are flexible, the heart no longer has to force blood through resistance. It flows instead of fights. Circulation also improves how oxygen is delivered and used. In seniors, it is common for oxygen to travel inefficiently, reaching tissues but not entering cells properly. Cardio trains the body to extract more oxygen from each breath. Capillaries, the smallest blood vessels, grow denser in muscles and organs. This allows oxygen to move closer to where it is needed. The heart benefits because it does not need to increase pressure to compensate for poor delivery. It works smarter, not louder. Another important effect is how circulation communicates with the liver and pancreas. When blood sugar remains high, the heart faces long-term damage from glycation, a process that stiffens proteins in vessel walls. Gentle cardio signals muscles to absorb sugar without demanding excessive insulin. This protects vessels from chemical aging. At the same time, fat particles are guided back to the liver for processing rather than sticking to artery walls. The heart becomes surrounded by a cleaner internal economy. Even the brain benefits from this nourishing flow. With improved circulation, cognitive centers receive more stable oxygen and glucose supply. Stress hormones decrease and emotional regulation improves. This matters because emotional tension directly alters heart rhythm and pressure. When the brain feels supported, the heart beats with steadier intention. The body behaves like a coordinated system rather than disconnected parts. What makes circulation powerful is that it transforms cardio into self-repair. Movement is not merely burning calories, it is reorganizing chemistry, reducing friction, and refreshing the rivers that feed every cell. For seniors, this means the heart does not struggle against the body. It travels with it, supported by clean, responsive, nourishing flow. Breathing is the quiet partner of the heart. Most people notice the heartbeat only when something feels wrong, but the heart and lungs are in constant dialogue. Every breath slightly changes the rhythm of the heart. When you inhale, the heart naturally speeds up. When you exhale, it gently slows down. This relationship is built into human biology, and for seniors, learning to guide it during cardio becomes one of the most powerful ways to protect the heart without strain. During gentle movement, breathing becomes more than oxygen exchange. It becomes regulation. Slow, controlled breathing activates the vagus nerve, a major pathway of the parasympathetic nervous system. This system tells the heart when it is safe to relax. Without this signal, the heart tends to stay alert, beating faster than necessary. Seniors who rush their breathing while moving often create unnecessary tension in the cardiovascular system. But when breath is smooth and nasal, the heart receives permission to stay calm even while working. Oxygen delivery depends not only on how much air enters the lungs, but how well it reaches the bloodstream. With mindful breathing, the lower parts of the lungs expand more fully. These areas contain the richest networks of blood vessels for oxygen transfer. As a result, more oxygen enters circulation with each breath. The heart benefits because it does not need to pump harder to compensate for poor oxygen supply. Instead, it moves blood efficiently with lower pressure and less fatigue. Breath also shapes heart rate variability, the small natural changes between beats. A healthy heart does not beat like a machine. It adjusts moment to moment based on needs. Seniors often lose this flexibility due to stress, illness, or inactivity. Gentle cardio, combined with slow breathing, restores this adaptability. With every calm exhale, the heart practices slowing itself down. With every inhale, it learns how to speed up smoothly without panic. Over time, the heart becomes resilient rather than rigid. There is also a chemical effect. Deep breathing reduces carbon dioxide buildup, stabilizes blood pH, and improves how hemoglobin releases oxygen to tissues. This means muscles, organs, and even the heart muscle itself receive better fuel. When tissues are well supplied, the heart does not overreact. It maintains rhythm instead of urgency. Seniors often feel this as less chest tightness and more comfort during movement. Emotionally, breath is a bridge between the conscious mind and automatic biology. Anxiety shortens breath, and short breath stresses the heart. But when seniors focus gently on breathing during cardio, the mind calms. Stress hormones decline and blood pressure softens. The heart responds immediately to emotional safety. It beats not just for circulation, but for psychological balance. Posture also follows breath. Upright movement allows the lungs to open fully. This increases oxygen intake and reduces compression on the heart. When seniors walk while breathing calmly, the chest expands, the diaphragm moves freely, and circulation improves without force. The heart then works within a body that is aligned rather than collapsed. Breathing during cardio is therefore not an accessory but a guide. It directs pace, intensity, and recovery. For seniors, learning to let breath lead the heartbeat turns movement into cooperation instead of conflict, allowing the heart to work with intelligence, patience, and ease. The heart does not exist in isolation. It lives inside a moving structure of muscles, bones, nerves, and thoughts. For seniors, protecting the heart is deeply connected to preserving independence, confidence, and dignity. Cardio is not only about circulation, it is about maintaining the ability to stand, walk, think, and feel without fear. When movement disappears, the body begins to shrink inward. Muscles weaken, balance fades, posture collapses, and the heart is forced to support a system that no longer supports itself. As seniors engage in gentle cardio, muscles awaken around the heart like a protective framework. Stronger legs and hips improve stability, reducing the risk of falls that often lead to long periods of inactivity. Inactivity quickly weakens the cardiovascular system, but when seniors move regularly, even at a slow pace, the muscles assist blood return to the heart, especially from the lower body. This reduces pooling in the veins and allows the heart to circulate blood with less effort. The body becomes a partner instead of a burden. Posture plays an important role in heart health. With age, many people begin to lean forward, compressing the chest and limiting lung expansion. This restricts oxygen delivery and forces the heart to work harder. Gentle cardio naturally encourages upright movement. When seniors walk, stretch, and move rhythmically, the spine realigns, the rib cage opens, and breathing improves. Better breathing supports better circulation. The heart benefits from a body that is structurally open rather than folded inward. The brain also depends on movement for clarity. Cardio increases blood flow to cognitive centers, delivering oxygen and nutrients that maintain memory, attention, and emotional balance. Seniors who move regularly often notice sharper thinking and steadier moods. This matters because confusion and depression can indirectly strain the heart by increasing stress hormones and disrupting sleep. When the brain feels supported, the heart operates in a calmer internal environment. Emotional independence is another layer of dignity. When seniors feel capable of moving on their own, they experience less fear and helplessness. Fear tightens the body and accelerates the heart. Confidence relaxes it. Through cardio, seniors remind their nervous system that the body is reliable. Each successful walk becomes psychological reinforcement that says, life is still navigable. The heart listens to this message and adjusts its rhythm accordingly. Balance and coordination also protect the heart indirectly. Gentle cardio trains the inner ear, joints, and reflexes to communicate smoothly. Better balance means fewer sudden shocks to the system. Falls often lead to hospitalization, medication, stress, and long recovery periods that weaken the heart. By maintaining balance through regular movement, seniors protect not only their mobility but their cardiovascular future. What makes motion powerful? is that it preserves identity inside the body. Seniors are not simply surviving, they are participating in life. The heart thrives in a body that moves with intention, breathes with confidence, and stands with self-respect. Through gentle cardio, independence becomes biology, and dignity becomes circulation, allowing the heart to serve a life that is active, aware, and still unfolding.